All right. So
Okay.
remember, you have 45 seconds to read. So next time we'll time it. Okay.
I read the announcement.
So now we're gonna review the following passage. All right. So it's gonna be about maybe the same or different depending on what we hear. So try to maybe make a few notes. Okay. You will only be able to watch this video once in a real exam. Okay.
Okay.
Now listen to two students discussing the announcement.
So did you hear that the university is cutting its transportation budget and ending all bus service?
I did hear that. But it's no big deal, right? I mean, the university is also compensating all students with $50 vouchers for public transportation. The vouchers can be used on, the subway and public buses. So, it sounds like there won't be a big problem.
Are you kidding me? This is going to be horribly inconvenient. I mean, first of all, there's no public transportation to the DeWolf Science Center. It's far away from any subway and bus station, and getting there will require a 20-minute walk through some of the worst neighborhoods in the city.
I guess that will be a problem for some people. But try to look at it this way. There's too much division in this country between university students and the people who live in the cities around them. Won't this encourage a spirit of togetherness, like when we're all using the same public transportation?
But actually, I think that this policy, that it won't help create much new interaction between students and city dwellers at all.
Why not?
Well, because $50 is not very much money. I mean, it'll probably only cover about a month's worth of subway or bus passes. And, most students won't be able to afford to take public transportation. So with students forced to walk everywhere, I just don't understand where all of this great new interaction is going to be happening.
The female student expresses her opinion about why she disagrees with the university's new policy. State her opinion and explain the reasons she gives for holding that opinion.
Okay.
All right, Fernando. So now we're gonna see how we respond to this question. Okay, or this response, depending on what you would like to prepare. So the female student expresses her opinion about why she disagrees with the university new policy. So your job, uh, you know, uh, what you will have to do is state her opinion and explain the reason why she gives her for not holding that opinion, right? So that's gonna be what we'll have to do. Okay, and remember it's 30 seconds to prepare and 60 seconds to respond. So for this time, we're just gonna just submit without really preparing one because we're gonna see this example. So
Okay.
remember, simple notes, right? You're gonna make simple notes. We want to have maybe a few things, that you catch on the reading and then on the listening. Maybe the main ideas.
Before you hear the conversation, you should already know what you might hear. You should have some ideas about what problems the student will have with the university's decision. That's because in the text, you have some clues. The text gives you some details about their decision, and the student will talk about those details. So it's possible, for instance, that the student will talk about the $50 passes. Maybe that's not enough money. Maybe once every semester is not enough times. It's also possible that the student might talk about all public subways and buses. Maybe there should also be some other type of transport, maybe trams or trains that aren't included in this $50 pass, or maybe the subways and buses aren't enough for some other reason. And this is the most noticeable one. The university thinks that students are going to join in the local community. Immerse means go in completely. For example, if you're immersed in water, you are underwater. So this means that students will really completely, totally join the local community. They will talk with people from that area, from the local area. So this one, you can imagine the student will probably disagree with this. She'll say, no, students won't interact with the local community. And then she'll give some reasons why. So your job is to listen for those details and why the student disagrees with them. So from the text, I have a bit of notes that $50 per semester, it's all subways and buses, and students will join in the community. And in the listening, I just made note of the most important parts which relate to that. And during those 30 seconds that you have to prepare, you can make connections. The science center is too far from the bus stop, and students have to walk through a bad area. Well, this connects to the subways and buses. That is, there are not enough subways and buses because the bus does not go to the science center. They have to go to a bus stop that's far away. Next, the little money and little interaction. Well, this really connects to both of these points, but more specifically and more importantly, it connects to the second point, that students will not interact with the community. Students will not join the community because it's not enough money. So you might take a couple of notes here as to what you're going to say, but really the arrows, the connections, and just thinking about it before you speak could be enough for you. If you do take notes, you might just say something along the lines of, well, not enough buses, and the science center, and besides that, not join the community because of money. Okay, so that's not join, and I just have short words here for community because of money. Remember, you want to write quickly. Okay, so let's hear my sample answer. Well, again, we have 60 seconds, that's 1 minute. And I'm going to speak about those two main points that will take most of my time. The woman thinks that the university's plan to get rid of the buses and instead offer students a $50 voucher is a bit flawed, I guess, because it's not enough money, for one. The $50 will not last for a full semester, so students will have to walk, which means that they actually won't be able to interact with the community like the university hopes. So instead of actually joining in and talking with people, they will be walking everywhere. And besides that, the student also says that one of the most important buildings on campus, the Science Center, is inaccessible by bus. That is, the student has to stop far away from the Science Center and then walk there through a really bad part of town. So giving the students vouchers is not the same as giving them a bus service directly to the Science Center. It's more dangerous and it's inconvenient. Okay, so there again, we talked about the most important details. Why the student thinks that it's not enough money and what effect that has, that the students will not join the community, and the science center being too far away.
Okay, Fernando. So that's how you prepare your response. You do the answer. Pretty brief response, right?
Yes.
So maybe you want to look at it read this. Maybe look through the notes to see what can help you. To have in mind to do.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Mm, okay.
All right. So the sample example, you would like to read it out loud?
Now, the female students disagree with the decision to cut funding of the university official bus. The school want a new system, a voucher system for public transport, but it's bad. Some university buildings are far away from the subway and public bus routes. Specifically, the sciences building, students will need to walk through the dangerous part of towns to get there. She is also suspicious of the idea that taking local transportation will mix students in the local community because the $50 voucher are not worth enough money to consistently let the students take public transportation. Students will need to walk to most places after that money is used up. And they probably will not interact much more than they do right now with people in the city.
Okay. So now we like to prepare a response. We just you maybe use on your own about the same topic. You can we can practice with that, and then we'll practice a different one. Yeah.
Yeah, okay?
Okay. So prepare a response, and I'll set a minute here for you to have. So I'm gonna time the timer. 60 seconds timer.
Okay. So first 30 seconds, no?
Yes, 30 seconds to prepare. Okay. Ready?
Okay.
Go.
Okay. Okay.
All right. So now you'll have a minute to respond. I'll set the timer. Okay. Ready?
Okay? Right, I'm right.
All right, go.
So I do not agree with it because of the university has decided to suspend the bus service to the students. So now the students have to reach the university by public transportation, or even if some students have cars, they can reach this university without any problems. Um, the only bad thing will be that now the students will arrive on time or a little bit late, but um, but
Okay. So,
but that's up to you.
all right. So just in time. All right. So good. Okay. So now
Okay.
let's practice with a different topic.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead. You read it.
New scholarships offer opportunity to study in Rome. The university is pledged to offer an exciting new opportunity for a student in the Romance language department. The prestigious Bonus Core scholarship allows students to study tuition free for 2 semesters in Rome. The student must submit an essay exploring a specific aspect of Italian culture to the selection committee. They must also submit a detailed plan explaining how a year in Italy will provide the opportunity to further research and improve the essay. Please note that students in departments other than Romance language are enabled for this opportunity.
Okay.
Now listen to two students discussing the announcement.
I think it's totally unfair that the Buonacore Scholarship is only being offered to students in the Romance Languages department. Like, it's an amazing opportunity, and it's so sad to see it monopolized in this way.
Is it really such a bad thing to limit the scholarship to one department, though? I mean, the fewer students compete for the prize, the easier it'll be for students like us to win it. After all, there are only 7 other students in the whole Romance Languages department besides us.
That doesn't change the fact that it's wrong for the scholarship to be limited to our single department. It's a matter of principle. First of all, there are students in other departments, like history and classics and Renaissance studies, all of whom would definitely benefit from a year in Italy. Why shouldn't they get a chance to submit their work to the committee?
But if they also submitted their essays, it would be harder for us to get the prize.
Look, just because something benefits me personally doesn't make me think that it's right. I mean, I have a lot of friends in history and classics and Renaissance studies, and I totally agree with them that it's wrong for them to be ineligible to compete for the scholarship. After all, Romance Languages is a very small department, and it seems abusive for us to keep this resource all to ourselves.
I guess I see where you're coming from.
Also, I think that it takes something away from the honor of winning the scholarship if the competition isn't very strong. I'd rather know that I earned the opportunity to study in Rome by competing against the very best students, instead of thinking that I was only honored because other talented people were unnecessarily excluded from the process.
Okay.
Okay, so go through your notes.
Okay.
We're ready.
30 seconds now.
Yes, go ahead. 30 seconds to prepare. Okay, ready?
Yeah, ready.
Okay, go ahead.
It is a very good opportunity for students to go to study a whole year in Rome, so they can learn the culture, landscape, and everything that can be learned from Rome as the Greek gods. Mm, the language, uh, as it is a language very similar to Spanish, but the only bad thing in that is that only a few will be accepted due to the high demand and students who meet the requirement.
Okay, good. Good timing. So now let's listen to how he prepared it. Okay, so maybe you can have another, another point, and let me know if you want to change your response. Okay.
Okay.
The conversation. In the text, there are some details that you can use to anticipate, to expect what you will hear in the conversation. Because, of course, in this type of question, in question number 3, you will always hear a student who agrees or almost always disagrees with something in a text like this one, and then explains why they have that opinion. So here, you can look for what the student might disagree with. And there's one specific sentence that is definitely possible to disagree with. This final sentence here. Students in departments other than the Romance languages are ineligible for this opportunity. Ineligible means they can't do it. They are not allowed. So that means that only some students can do this. You can see that's possibly negative. It's something that somebody might not be happy about because students in other departments maybe want that opportunity, but they can't have it. So you can expect in the conversation you will hear more about this. You could also hear about some other details. Maybe you would hear about the detailed plan, or maybe you would hear about the essay. These are things that the student could possibly dislike, so you want to listen for those too. But this one is especially notable. Okay, and when we actually hear the conversation, it turns out that the student mostly just disagrees with this part. She explains a couple of different reasons why she disagrees with that, though. Now, here are my notes. Your notes will look different, but the Bueno Course Scholarship, I wanted to write down here because that text, after I hear the conversation, is gone. And this is not an easy word to remember. So I wanted to remember it, so I just copied it from the original text. You should do that. If there is something in the text that you want to remember, put it in your notes because it will disappear. So the Bueno Course Scholarship, and then I have some details as to what that is. If you need an essay and a plan and you study in Rome and it's only one department, it's only the Romance language department. Notice these abbreviations, these short forms, definitely use abbreviations. Make those notes fast. And when I listened, I was listening for details of problems that the student had with the university's plan. And here are the problems I noted: that other students can't do it, and that's not fair. And I made note of some specific other students so that I can talk about those specific other students. And the other part, that she wants to compete with everybody. She wants to submit an essay and a plan and be considered against many people, because if she is the one who gets the scholarship from many people, that's very that is preferable. That is more comfortable for her. It's more of an exciting win than if she is just winning against, say, 3 people, smaller group. So, based on those notes and those ideas, I'm going to have first 30 seconds to prepare. I don't really need this 30 seconds because I've already planned this, but for you on your test day, you would want to spend this time making links and structuring what you will say. You could make connections from the text to the listening, or even better, think about the structure of what you'll say. So you can say, talk about the Bueno Course Scholarship for a minute, not for a full minute, for just 15 seconds, and then talk about why the student disagrees with it for the next 45 seconds and explain why she disagrees with it. And that's really just the same as what's up here: other students and competition. And maybe that is a little bit easier to read and remember when you're actually speaking than trying to look at this long piece of text here that's your full notes. Okay, so here we go. We have 60 seconds. I will have 60 seconds to answer, and you're going to hear that structure of introducing the idea and then talking about the 2 problems that the student has with the university's plan. The university is planning to give a new scholarship to students. It's a very important scholarship called the Bueno Course Scholarship, which will allow students to study in Rome if they submit an essay and a plan and are approved to study there. But the student is unhappy with this decision because of some of the details about how this scholarship is going to be given. For one, it's only going to be given to students in the Romance language department, and that means that her friends won't be eligible, and she thinks that her friends in other departments, like, say, for example, in the history department, should have that opportunity too. She also thinks that because it's so exclusive, it's not really very satisfying to win that scholarship, because she wants to compete with everybody and know that she earned it, not that she is just in some exclusive group. All right, so I spent a little bit long on the first part, introducing the scholarship. Yours should probably be a little bit shorter, because if you want to have enough time to describe both of the students' problems with the plan, then you'll probably want a full 40 seconds or 45 seconds to do that. But still, follow that structure, use that vocabulary for opinions, and you are good to go. Try it yourself.
All right, so Fernando, any Will you change anything on your answer, or everything good?
Mm, that explanation is too long.
Mm-hmm.
It's too long, too long. No, I don't change my answer.
Okay. All right. So we have time for one more. Okay. We're gonna just practice one more.
Okay.
All right. So here's a passage.
Seats are available to hear Secretary of State. The university is pleased to announce that the Secretary of State will be making a 1 hour speech on the future of modern warfare in the Kincaid Auditorium on Friday, May 14 at 3 p.m. Admission is guaranteed to all the students in the political science and government departments. Applications are now open for 100 additional seats in the audience. Applicants should fill out the accompanying form and include oof, one meal,
Mm-hmm.
no, a meal word
Yeah.
essay explaining why attendance will be important for them. A committee of professors from the political sciences and government department will evaluate the application. Oof.
All right. Maybe you want to take some notes here. Okay. Get it if you
Okay.
don't. Real quick.
Mm. Okay.
All right. So you want to do this as you read as well. You want to make notes as you read, so you can have more time. All right. Time is actually important in here. So, all right. So let's listen to the passage.
Okay.
Now listen to two students discussing the announcement.
Can you believe that the Secretary of State's speech is being limited to students in the political science and government departments? It's really unfair that they get guaranteed access.
Wait, really? I mean, don't you agree that the Secretary of State's speech is especially important to students in government and political science?
But what about students in history or cultural studies? It's wrong to assume that just because someone studies government, the speech would automatically be more important for them.
I guess so, but can't you still apply to get a seat? So if it is important to you, you can just, show them that it is.
With the essay? That's not exactly ideal. The people who judge the essays will be professors from government and political science. They have their own ideas about what good and bad reasons are. They'll be too prejudiced.
You think?
Oh, totally. I mean, how would they be able to judge an essay by someone like a poet or a computer scientist or a sculptor? They'll probably just dismiss those essays completely.
The female student expresses her opinion about why she disagrees with the university's new policy. State her opinion and explain the reasons she gives for holding that opinion.
All right. So prepare your response.
That audio is very difficult.
Mm.
Mm. Okay.
We can use.
Okay.
All right. So now whenever you're ready to do, okay, do your response.
Okay.
Go.
Mm, mm, mm. She does not agree because she does not want to accept that there are many more alternatives that being based on a single policy. That is why the Secretary of State wants to know um, your opinions about new trends or something that could be useful for the country. So so um, mm, no viene la palabra.
Okay.
So she should change her mind.
Okay. All right. So little bit, maybe like 2 seconds off, the minute, but it's fine. Um. So what was difficult for you? Was it the listening?
Yeah, for the Secretary of State, the listening.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. We'll continue practicing these. Okay. Monday.
Okay,
Um. So we can get continue getting more practice. But you're doing good so far. You're analyzing it and putting it together. So very good. Well done, Fernando.
okay,
Okay.
teacher.
Sounds good. So we'll see each other Monday. All right. Have an excellent weekend.
Have a nice weekend, teacher,
Thank you.
too.
Thank you.
So bye bye, teacher.
All right. Have a good one.